What's happening, Big Talk Nation? Melissa and Roger Adkins coming at you from Pine Bluff, Arkansas for our 11th episode of Melissa and Roger's Wildlife. We are very excited to have an opportunity to sit down today and chat with our favorite bass player, Dana Strum. Before we jump into our questions, though, we want to extend a huge heartfelt thank you to our buddies John and Jordan for giving us this incredible opportunity and for welcoming us into the Big Talk family.
Absolutely. So we're going to begin by giving you an opportunity to introduce yourself to any of our listeners who may not be as familiar with your resume. So if you will, just tell us how long you've been in the music industry, particularly your time with Slaughter.
I've been in the music industry the better part of my life. My time with Slaughter begun really with the Vinnie Vincent invasion, which morphed out of that into Slaughter. And so Slaughter was really 88 conceived. By 89 we were recording, and that'd be a fair guesstimate.
Okay, awesome. So we'll go ahead and get started with some more of our little get to know you questions here. So how old were you when you first began playing, and how long would you say it took you to become proficient?
I started playing around. I liked the bass. A lot of people played guitar first or whatever. I liked the bass. 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, those years, I liked dirt bikes, mechanical things, and I loved the bass. So I wasn't as hands-on being that young. You know, you flip-flop all over the place. But by the time I was 11-ish, 12-ish, I thought in my mind, this is what I'm going to do. And so to get proficient, it's probably a real 3 to 4 year deal when you're really going for it and working at it. I mean, I didn't go to high school dances or proms or anything like that because I just wanted to practice and play. So people, what are you going to do for your birthday? Just play. Just practice and play. I was senselessly addicted to it, and that's how I began to ruin my life.
Well, you're ruining your life has brought a lot of good to everyone else's life.
A lot of joy, yes.
It was a sacrifice on your end, but we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Who would you say your greatest musical influences were, and what specifically made you want to be in a band?
I like the Beatles. I like Black Sabbath. I like Led Zeppelin. I grew to like the Stones music more. But then, you know, it was really, for me, Sabbath, Zeppelin, the Beatles, early Grand Funk, Alice Cooper's original glitter rock band, David Bowie, his glitter rock band, and even the New York Dolls, which you wouldn't think would fit with those things, but there was such a cool, raw edge about them that I thought in my mind, you know, these guys, it's fun. They're onto something. There's a lot of personality. Not everybody has to play 8 million scales and even be proficient. Mm-hmm. Why not just put your message of good feelings out there? And the New York Dolls were very good at doing that the short amount of time they were around. Mm-hmm. They weren't really a thing when they were a thing, and then it has reinvented many times. But I really like that a lot, and you wouldn't think from the kind of music I just described that they'd fit in. But even the Sex Pistols, I thought that first record was incredible. Just great spirit, great feeling. And whether a couple guys learned their instruments 3 days before they started recording it, there's something great about that. Freedom.
Awesome. So how old were you when you attended your first concert, and who did you see?
That's a good one. And I was about 13-ish. And it was Black Sabbath, Captain Beyond, and Gentle Giant at the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles, California, where my first concert, I got the great opportunity to see that Black Sabbath would play less than 20 minutes, get sick on stage, and never come back.
Oh,
wow.
But those were a great 19.999 minutes, you know. It was kind of life-changing because if you've never seen something like that and you've only heard records, there are those people that are doing that right there in front of you. And for me, that was, you know, really eye-opening. And it was a cool 20 minutes or 19, whatever it was. But I was like, so they're not coming back? Wow, this can happen. Everybody's, please leave the building. I'm like, wow, I guess it just did. So, but what a first thing to see.
Sure.
Yeah. Wow. That's memorable. What would you say your favorite concert that you attended was? And what's one band that you wish you had the opportunity to see?
Wish I saw Jimi Hendrix. I never did. I would have just enjoyed seeing how he did what he did. He was so ahead of his time in so many ways and so unique so many ways. I did see Zeppelin, and that was cool. I would love to see the Beatles live for real, whatever that really was. Would have liked to at least say I was there and to understand what me from my end thought I saw or didn't see. And Alice Cooper's original band, the Glitter Rock band, that was the band that established his career, they were all fantastic, and it was really good.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Who would you say was your greatest supporter when you first stepped out into the world of entertainment, or did you have a greatest supporter in your life?
What's funny is you're your own greatest supporter when you decide you're going to step out, because you have to believe in yourself. And you can't really enlist people to believe in you until they decide for themselves, I like this, I'm going to believe in that. Like anything else, if you try to force the issue, it gets worse. Funny enough, the person that tried to actually talk me out of it and talk some sense into me, of all things, was Ozzy Osbourne.
Really?
Trying to say, don't do this. And he was being very heartfelt and very honest. And I didn't understand it as much at the time because I wanted to do it so badly. But I think he was trying in his own way to enlighten me to, he lost a huge amount of his usable life, and it wasn't all pleasant. And Dana, why do this to yourself? And I'm like, well, you did it. And he's like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. And it was very endearing. And it was endearing, it was loving, it was emotional, and it was also kind of, well, the more you say don't do it, I'm going to do it anyway. And anybody in their own business, anybody that's got that spirit is going to go do what they want. So I did.
Wow. What's the best and worst part about life on the road as an entertainer?
So the best part is doing what you've always wanted to do since you were a young kid, or whomever you were and whenever it was. The best part is the lights go down and you can inside be that person as much as your mind will take you there, and enjoy the fact that you're giving people a better hour, 75 minutes, 90 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it may be, of their life. And you're changing their life and turning it into a better place. There are some people that you see that get emotional when they hear songs, or they're crying, and they have that right. Maybe it brings back a sad time to them or something they're trying to get over. Fly to the Angels for Slaughter often does that. You see mixed things going on when we play it. But you never forget that you bring a lot of joy to people. So I love that part. I don't mind traveling. I think seeing people in the bands deteriorate, or their mental condition deteriorates because of alcohol and drug abuse, or mental problems, or domestic problems, it's always sad to see it. And you know that the road and travels and all this, the distance, have a lot to do with it. And sometimes I cringe because I think, I did this. I should have never told this person to come and be on the road with us. And now look what's happening. Now the girl or the guy's leaving them, and blah, 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 blah. And I've said it to a couple people we took under our wings. You don't want to do this. I do. What if someone told you didn't want to do it? Well, I was told that all the time. And, I'm the first guy to say, you didn't want to do this. But in the end, if you're cut out for it, it could be the greatest thing in the world. It can also be tragic when something bad happens and you can't go be there, or you can't get back there. Your house could burn down as we're doing this, and I can't leave. By the time I'm done tonight, I can't leave either. I could sit at the airport until the first flight, but newsflash, we're already on the first flight. So there's nothing you can do. So nobody likes to feel like they're hostage all the time. One thing about the road is, you can feel like you're hostage because you are a hostage to being here. Mm-hmm. So for some people, it could be living their dreams, and they make people happy by doing each segment of what people do out here. Others, it could be torture. I've tried to not make it be torture, but I put myself in a little bit of a box and don't have expectations too far to the left or too far to the right, too far up, too far down. If you can have consistency out there, I think that's important.
Okay. What's the key to allowing your musical influences to shine through in your craft while simultaneously ensuring that you develop your own unique sound?
Everybody has influences, and anybody that told you that they didn't see someone in some band at some point, I'm going to be like that guy or whatever. I morphed a bunch of people together because I liked, again, the Beatles, Zeppelin, Sabbath, etc. So those aren't really the same. Right. The Beatles aren't like Led Zeppelin, and Led Zeppelin's not like Black Sabbath, and Black Sabbath's not like the New York Dolls or Alice Cooper. So I tried to take what I wanted from each one of the people that I liked and collect and steal and morph as much as I could to be what you think you can be to present yourself. I mean, a lot of times guys in rock bands are like WWE or WWF wrestlers. They're people you love to love, and they're people you love to hate. And people can root for the bad guy, root for the good guy, and it's all part of the deal. It's the wrestlers know that too. Football guys go out. 1 minute you're on the Raiders, you're at the top of the world. The next year you're at the Raiders, and the team's like in second to last place or last place. That's if you're the Raiders owner or the sideline people or the back office people, that's part of the game. We had an unlucky season. It's going to be a new season. We're going to go out there and kick ass. A lot of it is in your mind. If you are a strong person, mentally, got all your faculties about you, then you can make it a nice place and use those influences. If not, you might look at some of your early influences and say, why did I ever look at these people? I wish I never did this. I've met people out here that I think truly wish they never did it. And I always tell them, Home Depot always seems to be hiring. You should go try it. You'll be back.
Yeah. What's your favorite song to play live and why?
Well, favorite Slaughter song. I actually like the popular songs. There's others that I like too, but Flight of the Angels is a pleasure because 54 million people have clicked on it, listened to it on YouTube. Whether they bought our music ever or not, I don't care. The times have changed. But that's 54 million than zero. Yeah. Whole lot of times more than zero. So I'm proud of that. Up All Night is sitting around 10 million, I think. I'm proud of that, and so it's fun to play them. And of course, because Mark and I wrote them, it's fun to recognize that you wrote something that many years later still make people feel good. It could easily forget. Mm-hmm. I mean, I heard songs that I thought were great, and I couldn't tell you the name of it right now. It didn't impact me enough. But I knew songs that I thought were great. I could always tell you the name of it. Mm-hmm. If it was a Beatles song that influenced me, I could tell you Ticket to Ride. They had this riff, and it was a hard rock riff, and it could change a lot of people's lives the minute that they hear the beginning of that song. Mm-hmm. And the minute you hear Paul McCartney come in, you say, there's Paul's bass, and we're the Beatles, and here we go. And so depends on how you listen. And there's no set rules. You can listen to music any way you want. Mm-hmm. And there aren't any rules. Soft, loud, indifferent, talking, not talking, having a drink, never having a drink, drinking Perrier water to drinking Jack Daniels. Whatever makes you enjoy it more is probably what you should do.
Fair enough. In any group you've been affiliated with, have there been any songs that you played for an audience and the reaction wasn't really what you expected, like in terms of being a bigger hit than anticipated, or maybe receiving a very underwhelming reaction to a song that you loved performing?
Well, if we played something off a newer piece of recorded music that we did, and it just seemed to not get the same reaction, I was pretty quick to the draw and would just say, guys, it didn't really translate well.
Gotcha.
Let's give it a few more goes, and let's admit if it doesn't translate well, let's try something else or go back to what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, if you have a classic car, a Corvette, a Mustang, a Camaro, a Challenger, a Charger, a Pontiac, whatever you may have, an old vintage muscle car, you don't really want to fix what's not broken on it. If it's a good condition Mustang, leave it be and don't fix what's not broken. So many people try to reinvent things that don't need to be reinvented, and they go back. A good example, the Beatles. Like I said, I like the Beatles a lot. Paul McCartney was one of the principal songwriters and bass player of the Beatles. Great bass player as well, great musician as well. Not much Paul McCartney doesn't do that's not pretty spectacular, especially at his age now. And we saw, Mark and I went to see Paul McCartney in Las Vegas. I was lucky. I knew somebody, so we got great seats. And the funniest thing happened. He played Live and Let Die. The place, people were crying. He played Penny Lane and Come Together and Hey Jude by the Beatles. People were literally sobbing. He said, we're going to do a new number now. I watched people get up and actually go to the bathroom. And I thought, unbelievable. That's Paul McCartney telling you that he's got something new he wants you to hear. And I'm thinking, and there's 60,000 plus people in this football stadium. And a great deal of them, right as he said a new number anything, got up and left. And I'm thinking, so if that happens to Paul McCartney, we're not near as meaningful as Paul McCartney in the scope of life. And this is a lesson I should never forget. And I never did. The Eagles, since then, little American pop sensation called the Eagles, they've mentioned that they don't record new things because they're aware that people want to hear what they want to hear and that they're not going to shove those things down their throat. And I thought they said it pretty eloquently, because that is what you experience out here. So if we played 3 new songs, if you play 1 hour, figure each song's about 5 minutes. So if we sprinkled 3 new songs in because we like them and we think that it's a cool riff and we think it's a good part and we think, there's only one fundamental problem. You're not up there playing for you. You're playing your music for people that are expecting to hear what they know and love and why they ever bought your music to begin with. So even though you may think, how many more times do we have to play? Well, here's the thing. If you say, how many more times do we have to play Up All Night or Fly to the Angels or Mad About You or this or that? The real meaningful question would be, I'll tell you when you know you're not going to have to worry about playing them, when there's nobody there and no one says anything. Yeah. That's when you're going to know, don't worry about anything else, because everything just came to a grinding halt. Mm-hmm. You'll know. Trust me.
Good food for thought.
Yeah. What routines, tips, and tricks do you swear by that help you stay at the top of your game?
Well, I don't know if I'm at the top of my game.
We think so.
Yeah. First of all, come in with a good attitude. Mm-hmm. Come in and don't take your life circumstances. We all have life circumstances in home environments. Don't bring your life circumstances to the workplace. They don't happen in the straight workplace. Doesn't do any good. And it sure as fuck doesn't do any good out here. So, 1, leave your troubles behind, at home or in your mind where they belong. You don't need to tell everyone around you that you just had a fight with your brother, sister, husband, wife, cousin, because in the end, everybody has their life and they need to worry about their time in their life. So nobody really cares. They might pay a little lip service. So I would say come in with a good attitude. I would say be prepared mentally for what you're there for. Don't talk about 5 other businesses when you're here to do one business. The 5 other businesses are sidetracking everybody else in the room and derailing everybody else. Hey, I've got this other new project. Well, why don't you keep that to yourself? That's not why we're here. And I think those things keep people focused. I can't imagine a football player going in to play a championship game or an opening game or a midseason game, and instead of worrying about the plays and the coach and what we're going to do, talking about the new curtains and plantation shutters that he's putting on the windows. Be like, dude, why don't you shut the fuck up about all that, and let's worry about the game. That's why we're here. Maybe if we worried less about the drapes and the shutters, we'd be playing better. So I think that's, and staying on point. It's not easy because there's a lot of things when you're on the road, you can't do anything about it. Your car can get hit. Your family member can get in an accident. All kinds of things can happen. Your dog can die. Your cat can die. Your fish can die. There's nothing you can do until you go back. So you have to know better often to keep it as much inside as you can and don't impact others. And I try to do that. I don't bring the business woes to the others unless I know, okay, I can't save this show. I can't do this. So game over.
Gotcha. What's the secret to becoming fully comfortable and confident in front of an audience?
Biggest secret is don't be scared. Second biggest secret, stage fright doesn't exist. Third biggest secret is you got to look at yourself and tell yourself this is what you wanted to do. You must have known what it takes. You must have known what it would have taken. And if you didn't, it's a fuck of a time to face it. And if you find that you are having a really tough time walking out there and doing that, you probably better reevaluate what's up. You're going to zone out the way you want. Everybody, I wonder what they do. Well, the truth, everybody does something different. Some people put their head down and think. Some people have a drink, loosen up. Some people do other things to loosen up. There's no wrong or right. I just say that it'd be better, no matter what you do, don't walk out sloppy. Don't walk out visibly high or intoxicated if you can avoid it, because those probably aren't how the people that haven't seen you in a long time want to see you falling over or stumbling, and they'd like to see what they paid for, I would think. So my gut would be, if early in your career you have butterflies and shortness of breath and anxiety, you better see if you can get a hold of that. And if you can't, being on the stage in front of people probably isn't a good idea. The other thing you have to realize, being on that stage, or political figure or anything public figure, you're going to be somebody that people love to love and people love to hate. Mm-hmm. And you, by being up there, just opened up a license for every human being in the world to be able to formulate those opinions, and maybe not based on the truth, maybe based on their assumption of what a photo of what you must be like, or an assumption of, yeah, that guy always looks like that, so fuck him. I don't like him. They have no idea who you are. They have no idea.
Good point.
Yeah. Have you played any venues or locations that particularly stood out to you and became a favorite, or do they all just run together into a blur after a while?
No, there's some venues that when you go in are super standout venues. The first time, a couple years back, we played a place called the Falls View, and it was a stunning, how the hell have we never played here before? This is unbelievable. I mean, amazing these people did this. And there's others out there that are like that. Mohegan Arena is a stand-up for those arenas. It's clean, it's nice, the staff's great. And then there's in Japan, the venues there can be,
unbelievable.
Yeah, super.
Purpose built for concerts with no other.
Yeah, they don't build like a big concrete warehouse or a ballroom. They build it for music. Mm-hmm. And you go to some other countries and they really made a music venue for music. Mm-hmm. Many, many, many of the venues that we all see entertainment in here are sports arenas, basketball gymnasium, ballroom in a hotel casino, 2-3 ballrooms put together, outdoor stage in the middle of a big grass field. Obviously, those aren't designed for music. You do the best you can, and our sound and lighting people do the best they can as well.
Sure. All right. What would you say are the most crucial components that go into a song that elicit an emotional response that's felt rather than something that's just simply heard by the audience?
Legitimate emotion, meaning the musical scale or the musical tonalities that you use between the instruments, the guitar, the bass, possibly the drums, and the vocal, create a tension or a harmonious feeling, and it can go from a tension to a harmonious feeling to make you feel good. And you don't have to know music theory or anything of the sort to know, man, that just felt good, or oh man, I love that part, or whatever it may be. That means if you say, I sure love that part, or boy, that was great, or I love that, then the musician, writer, artist, performer got to you. If you never feel that, then they didn't get to you. And try again. We were all young kids. Little Johnny, try again. So you go back and say, that intro didn't work. Or we need to put the fucking end back to the way we had it. We switched the song up, we did this. It's not better, it's worse. There was great excitement at the end, and now these genius ideas we had just fucked up everything we were doing. So you have to be legitimate enough to say, it just didn't work, guys. This T-shirt idea we had, it just didn't work. People don't like it. I know you think you work just as hard at it, but guess what? Nobody buys it, they don't like it. That's it. McDonald's puts out a salad. People want to go in for the stupid Big Mac or the filet of fish. They like what they like. McDonald's is not going to turn you into a salad eater if you don't want to be a salad eater.
That's right.
And if you are, you probably won't go to McDonald's for that salad.
That's the truth right there.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't.
Did you ever become discouraged as an artist due to certain trends or other aspects in the industry? And what made you push through and continue performing?
Boy, that's a truthful question. I think you're discouraged all the time. And I think, things happen every day that can be discouraging and it can make you question a lot of things. Because I'm involved in other areas of business, including running the business for Slaughter, I'm able to see somebody else's business versus my own business and the way it works comparatively. And there are times at the end of some of those days where you're like, you know what, I've had enough. It's just tiring. It's thankless. I've had enough. And then a couple minutes later, you can come to your senses, depending on how strong you are. Yeah, Dana, but you know what? That's what you signed up for. And unless you're saying that, you're now no longer signing up and all of that. You get discouraged all the time. And I think the things that make you push through, how real you can be with yourself. Hardest thing for people to do is be real. Mm-hmm. Look in the mirror. A lot of people, they look in the mirror, they don't like what they see. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Well, change it. Do something about it. You can. Or can you? If you can, you'll probably be strong enough to persevere. If you can't, you're always going to go stair step to stair step, blaming others for why something didn't work. And the only person you have to blame is yourself. So, there can be lots of discouraging things. You're going to push on and persevere until you wake up or don't wake up or whatever it's going to be where you say, I just don't want to do this anymore. I'm really thankful to all the people that have supported this and it's been a part of their life, and I hope they still continue to. I just don't want to be here anymore. And people can hate on you for that, and that's okay too. They don't live in your shoes.
Absolutely. So what would you say is the reason music has the ability to unify such a diverse group of people while most other aspects of life tend to cause divide?
Music is made to make you feel good and to give you emotions or to make you reflect or to take you to another place or to give you a release and an outlet. Most of those purposes are really good and they're very positive. And if there wasn't music, I'd hate to see the world. Mm-hmm. Music, I think, cures a lot of people from doing a lot of things maybe they shouldn't do by hearing a song or a lyric and an emotion that makes you think twice or 3 times or 4 times about doing something bad, good, or indifferent. The power of music is because it doesn't take much to listen and like or dislike. And it doesn't take much for it to move you one way or the other, move the needle one way or the other. And everybody's different, and there's lots of different genres and styles of music. So whatever genre and style appeals to somebody that's out there listening, then it already moved their needle for them. So other things I don't think have as much power. If you took music out of film and television and it's only narrative, you'd never get scared. You'd never know you should laugh. You'd never know, oh, what was that? There was a big noise. Yeah, because something blew up. So it really accentuates the emotion, and they drive it up that way. So if you really think now, let's turn off the music track and let's just hear the actors, it would pale in comparison. So music is important, and it's important in all walks of life. I think it cures a lot of people's woes. Unfortunately, it can also amplify them, just like a glass of wine. Some people can have a glass of wine because they've had it since they were 8 years old in Europe with their family. Some people can have a glass of wine, and it leads to having a bottle of wine, and it leads to having 2 bottles of wine, and they become an alcoholic and uncontrollable, and they ruin their life because they couldn't get a hold of their habits. And that's not music's fault. That's that person's fault.
Yeah. What would you say has been the biggest obstacle that you faced over the course of your career, and how did you overcome it?
I was too old, really, for what I was doing when I started to do it in the band. At one point I thought I should do this with Mark and then find somebody and put a band out there, because I'm really older than I should be. If this thing's going to click starting now, I'm going to be older than I should be. So that was a bit of a hindrance. I pushed through the best I could, and I'm still sitting here and I'm still alive. But it's difficult, that, and of course, trying to balance any form of home, whether it's empty or not, when you're not there and when you're in and out so much. It's always difficult. So someone's always going to have that love-hate relationship with what you do for a living. Now, if they have too much of the hate relationship, it's just never going to work. The anger, the jealousy, the garbage goes on. It's never going to work. So you go through those things, and I remember, when I told a young crew person in their 20s, early 20s, that came on the bus, started to work for us, I said, so you understand you're going to lose your girlfriend, you're going to lose your friends, you're going to lose all these things. Why do you want to do it? Today he's a tour manager for a known country artist, and several of them. But yes, he spent many a nights crying in the hallways of that bus when the girl did leave him, and all of that happened. He looked at me and said, I tried to warn you, kid. It's like, but you can't just be everybody. Yeah, but you're narrowing down the playing field here.
There you go.
Yeah.
So this might seem like an odd question, but it has made for some funny stories in our past interviews. Have you ever been injured on stage?
Yeah, I fell through the drum riser.
Oh, jeez.
Because we had stairs with aircraft landing lights in the stairs. And I know exactly where it was because I was traumatized because I thought the wires and the voltage, I didn't know how much exposed wiring there is. I know when these guys blast the lighting console, those ACLs will blind you.
Yeah.
And I just thought in my mind, it's a shitload of power. My feet are right down where the wires to these things go. They're often just electrical tape with the little clips that you put on those things.
Right, they're just a little screw with clips. They're exposed.
They're exposed. So these guys didn't clamp the stairs together shut, so I was on the top of the drum riser. I jumped down to what would have been like the second stair, which I then would have jumped to the second stair again, and I'm on the stage level, and I fell straight through. The drum riser opened up there, and I was in it with a bass sticking out. Oh my God, I'm going to die. Or I broke a bone, and now I'm going to get electrocuted. And I'm like, I'm going to get electrocuted. Like, don't turn them on, don't turn them on, don't turn them on. I'm thinking, you got to see me here, don't turn them on. And what seems like minutes was probably about a minute or so until they realized, where the fuck is he? I'm like looking around like I'm stuck in here, you know? And just was one of those things, the perfect storm. There were C-clamps that held things together or angle clamps, and they just forgot to tighten them. And I was the unfortunate victim of the lack of tightening. Yes, we all rode that same bus after that show that evening. And
Might not have been the happiest bus ever.
I just said it can happen, and it just did happen to me, you know?
What's your proudest moment as an artist?
Probably that I'm still here. You know, really. I mean, we all have choices, and we all pick musical styles that we like or dislike. So you go with the ones you like, hopefully. And if you're lucky enough to still be able to do what you do for a living, you're doing something right. And if you're not, reinvent your approach and keep trying. So it's lucky that you're still there, if you are.
Love it. What advice or recommendations do you have for aspiring artists attempting to make it in the industry today, particularly those who are unsure of the best way to get started and put themselves out there?
This is easy. Run. Forget it. Run. Forget it. Now that you think I'm an asshole for saying all those things, I will tell you it is a road, often a road to nowhere. It's often very frustrating. It's often very unfair. It's often a lot of things. But if in your heart of hearts you know that's what you want to do, and somehow or another you're going to find your way, then take everything I first said, run, forget it, pretend like you never heard it, like I did, and go for it. Just understand the consequences and trials and tribulations that are going to come with it. And depending on the kind of person you are, or the upbringing you did or didn't have, will depend on how inept you are at staying with it, and what kind of person you are when you're staying with it. Do you become a crazy alcoholic because you're frustrated? Then you shouldn't do it. There's going to be nothing but frustrations from time to time. Probably shouldn't do it. Okay. So it's a tough road. It's like professional sports. You can shoot good basketball and throw good football and run like there's a motherfucker and this and that. That doesn't mean you're cut out to be on a traveling professional sports team with other people that are also really good. Mm-hmm. You may have been the top of the pack at your junior college or high school or in college. But that doesn't mean with everybody they picked all these people from, they're not like in the neighborhood shooting hoops. These are all hand-picked people based on their abilities. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean you're going to get along with them. And you got to figure out how you can or why you're not and make some decisions. So this comes with a lot of other things, not just standing up there and being the guy that so many people see.
Definitely. Okay. What's one thing about your band you'd like more of your fans to know?
It would have been really easy to just give it up at many, many times. When Tim Kelly died, it was really, for me, probably 80-20, we should give it up. I was of the opinion that it just all happened probably too fast, too soon, and now we're all paying the price repeatedly for these things. It's like this crazy lightning bolt that was coming down and never seemed to get better. And then, I told myself a lot of times, like, look, you're not a quitter. Why are you even feeling like this? But sometimes it can act, your life can make you act or feel a certain thing that's happening. I'm proud of the fact that we didn't give it up. I'm proud of the fact that we hung in there and stuck with it. I'm proud of it's not the easiest for the singer. A lot of people, this guy, that guy, this guy. Okay, well, here's the thing. You get 35 years older in front of people, and let's see you do what you did 35 years ago in front of them. So if you're a good bike rider, that's cool. 35 years later, let's get you on that 15-speed bike. Let's see how you're doing now. If you're a good weightlifter, that's cool. Let's get you here 35 years later and see how you're lifting weights. And you're a good gardener. Yeah, that's cool. Let's get you out here with your mowers and your trimmers 35 years later in the 105-degree heat and see how you're doing. Some of these stages we play in the summers are 105 to 120 with the lights. Mm-hmm. Some of the stages inside or in the cold seasons can be 30 or below. And your hands are almost freezing and your fingers are almost freezing off. I'm proud of the fact that we didn't give it up. I'm proud of the fact that we were smart enough to use some sort of self-governance and keep the P's and Q's as reasonable as we could. And I'm proud of the fact that the stuff that we wrote translated decades later and people sing it and it changes their life and moves their life. Who couldn't be proud of that? Anybody that writes, I don't care if you write a poem, Dear Mom, I love you. Loved little Johnny. Be proud of it. You wrote it and it moved the needle.
What's the best way you've found to diffuse conflict with bandmates, crew personnel, venue staff, etc., in situations where tensions are running high?
Well, that's usually me. And diplomacy, not being an additional hothead, it's not going to do any good. Trying to somewhat keep enough peace to get through whatever the problem really is and try to decipher it, but it never does any good to decipher those problems right after the show, right before the show. I mean, there's some rules that you should have, I think, if you're running these things and working in them. There's a time to discuss certain things, and there's absolutely a time not to. So if it's a free-for-all, and you're just openly discussing, well, you suck tonight because of this and that, all you're doing is hurting the whole situation. Mm-hmm. If you want to let it calm down and cool off and say, look, when you start this, let's just do what we used to do, because there's always a better time than at the heat of the moment. Mm-hmm. Have there been conflicts and fights and what have you? Yeah, absolutely. Have there been situations where people did or didn't speak to each other? Absolutely. Were there situations where you think someone's got to go, something's got to happen? Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Then you come to your senses and try to be practical and logical enough to think, I'm overreacting like I ask people not to overreact, so I need to stop it and make it work. And that's what I attempt to do.
Okay.
Wow. I mean, I think that leads into this one. What elements would you say are key to a lasting, successful musical career?
What's funny is a career isn't the music. A career is all of the things involved and the music. Mm-hmm. What are all of those things? Things people often don't want to hear. Income and expenses. Now, the new Live Nation Blue Dot ticket sales, tours falling apart, in the end is about income, expenses, greed, and pricing. So your job is to control income and expenses accordingly. And it's not always easy or fun to make the decisions where somebody is not sitting in the seat they wanted to sit in. I always tell people, I think you're better off to spend that money in your home environment or put it away for your future than you are paying another $900 for a first-class seat. However, if somebody insists that that's what they want, I'll make a note of it, send an email, and then buy them the additional $900 seat. I don't think it's the greatest idea most of the time. However, if it's a longer segment or something, I'll do what I can. But you have to control income and expenses like any business. Mm-hmm. So if you run any corporation, and most of these acts are LLC or corporation or what have you, partnership, or all of the above, at that point, you know, you have to make business decisions. And I don't care who you are, but making business decisions is never fun. You know, it's fun when the gig goes good. Everybody walks out, we kicked ass. When the gig doesn't go good or something doesn't go well, it's the manager guy's fault for taking, why'd you ever put us in this fucking place? And then it's your fault. I've been that guy for a long time. It's not all fun. And I'm accountable. If I should have known it or should have avoided it, I usually figure that out, you know, when it's happened, that this kind of place and this kind of band just doesn't work together. Doesn't mean the place is bad, doesn't mean the band's bad, doesn't mean the people are bad. Just means it didn't work out. So there's a lot of things that stand in the way of things being successful. And it's, you know, managing a band can generally be a pretty thankless job. Mm-hmm. When it goes well, the band's a fucking hero. When it goes bad, the manager is an asshole. Mm-hmm. It's about that simple.
All right. So a little lighthearted one thrown in here. I'm pretty sure he and I already know the answer to this one, but who is the biggest joker or prankster of the bunch?
I'd say little Mr. Blando would probably have to be at the top of that list. And there's something endearing about the kid that just never simply grew up and can't and won't. And there can be it can be endearing and it can be one unbelievable pain in the ass. And both of those things can make it kind of fun and funny. So in our situation, Jeffrey Blando is the ringleader winner when it comes to that.
Be real. It's Blando, you. It's like four
Suspicions,
like bare
concern.
notches.
Yeah.
So, what is the one main impression you want to leave with your fans and hope will always be part of your musical legacy?
Thankfulness,
Okay.
actually.
Love it.
Thankfulness. I am 100% thankful for the people that keep all of us alive, from all of the guys on our crew that risk their lives to come out here and let people feel good in their own specialized areas, to the guys in the band, and to everybody else around us, and to people that help from afar. Thankful. If it wasn't for all of those people hanging in there with us all of these years, showing their love and reaching in their pockets and helping to support us, we'd have no reason to be here. Like I said, we'll all know when there's no reason to be there, because there's nobody there. You don't have to worry. The room just told you the truth. Now, if you go to another city and another city and another city and another city, and the room's telling you the same truth, you've probably had your run. And it's probably not a good time to be stubborn, because it's very doubtful if it's just done. It's probably just done.
Okay. Any additional fun facts about you or stories you'd like to share? And if not, do you have any recommendations for us concerning additions we must include on our concert bucket list?
Quit while you're ahead. Quit while you're ahead. You guys have already driven too far. And you've already physically seen more shows than many bands tour in their whole career. You're at about 117 now?
120 tonight.
120 tonight. 120 shows that you've driven to, on the ground, driven to. 120 shows is more shows than many bands ever play in their career. It is, it's certainly, if you divide by, X a year, you guys are on your own tour. Up to 120 show tour. And that's a lot. It's a lot of logistics on your part. It's a lot of everything. Look, I met you guys in particular because I was curious. And I approached you guys. You asked me to sign something. I said, hey, I'll be happy to do it. But can I ask you guys something? And I asked you how old you were. And I asked you guys together, you're married. And I said, how the hell are you here and involved in this kind of music? You're like too young, really. And it was, you meet people like you guys and still think there's hope out there. And sometimes if you're down or feeling odd or whatever the case may be, and you have to reflect, you know what? If they can come in with that smile and they can come in with that good attitude, and they fucking drove all night long, but they come in happy. And so the truth is sometimes you get these interactions and you don't know why at first, but it helps balance you if you're open enough to see it. You think, oh, hang on a minute. They just drove probably 20 fucking hours and they come in, hi, can we help you? And you're like, unbelievable. But that really shows you a lot about, people that you can meet in humanity and the good, the bad, the ugly. So I think a lot of people wouldn't think that the way we met is the way we met. I started to ask you questions. I said, you're always welcome. Please don't buy tickets to our shows. Please, we'll get you in. You guys still bought tickets for at least 20 other shows, if not more. And I said, please stop buying tickets.
We're pretty stubborn.
You are stubborn. But the truth is, we've met a number of people like you. One of the other ones we met that started like you is now Steve Harris from Iron Maiden's bass tech and on-stage keyboard player. He brought us Rice Krispie treats to our tour bus in about 1996 or 7. And he looked like a guy that maybe would have just got out of prison somewhere. And that was even funnier because he didn't really fit in with the look that we had. And he loved the music and wanted to be around it. And he now has a career in the music business. So does a tour manager that worked with us, which was the kid that I said, the girlfriend's going to be gone and this and that. He's had a career in the music business. Our original guy that knew Tim Kelly had never collected money or done anything in his life. He was scared at the time to go into the KISS production office to pick up our little $500 we were getting. And he now has a career in the music business. And many, many others were started because we lent a helping hand or took people in. Or we gave them a new lease on life. And we also have been known to have sound guys that die. And that's something that people don't know. But we've had multiple sound men die. And a lot of it was habit driven. A lot of it was really unusual. But I don't know why. We had one guy die, had the other guy up to bat, he dies. We had that guy up to bat. The other guy might as well have been dead because he was half asleep under the table with alcohol habit and problem. By the way, that person's now a drug and alcohol counselor. And he was so bad that nobody would hire him for anything. Mm-hmm. And the truth of the matter is he was a talented mixer and put himself there. And I saw him in Orlando, Florida in SeaWorld, where he was crying in the hallway and profusely apologizing. I said, dude, I like you and I think you're funny, but I can't trust you. And you know how many times you burned me for airline flights and you burned me for this, or falling asleep under the console. I said, I see your face and I smile, and I love you, but I can't trust you. And he's like, I know I did it to myself. I said, you did. You did. So don't look at me with the puppy dog eyes. You know what you've done. We don't need to browbeat each other, but I wish you luck. And he goes, can you believe I'm a drug and alcohol counselor? And my response is, no, I really don't. He goes, I'll show you my card. I said, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, don't bother. Just good luck. Keep it together.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time to sit down and talk with us today. We really appreciate it. Be sure to check these guys out on tour. You can find all their tour dates on slaughterusa.com/tour for all their locations coming up in 2026. And if you happen to be in the Pine Bluff, Arkansas area, come on out to the Saracen Casino Resort this evening. Festivities begin at 7 p.m. and we promise any Slaughter show is one you do not want to miss.
And thank you, as always, to all of our listeners tuning in today for this episode of Melissa and Roger's Wildlife. We hope you'll join us again soon. Be safe out there and remember to be excellent to each other. Much love to you all. See you next time.